Hi and welcome to Clappia. In this video, we will see how to use the email workflow node available in Clappia in combination with other workflow nodes. The email workflow node is used to send out emails to relevant people who need to know details of submissions made to the app. Let's see how to use it with the help of an example. Over here, I have created a basic marketing activity app where a user makes a marketing activity plan, whether it is weekly or monthly, and then lists out the details of the activity to be conducted. Say, for example, once they submit the plan, an email notification needs to be sent to maybe a department head to check details or maybe approve the plan. For this, we use the email workflow. First, we go to the design app, and in step 1, which is design app, you create your app structure first, and then go to step 3, which is workflows. Workflows is important if you want to incorporate your business process flow into your apps. So to send out email notifications, when I click on Add Step, you can see the email node available here. Once you click on the email node, a right-hand panel will appear where you can configure the email node. So under two email addresses, you will have to mention the email address of the person who needs to be sent the email notification. You can also give email addresses under CC. If there are multiple people who need to be sent the email notification, you can simply list out the email addresses separated by comma. Next, we have subject, where you give the email subject. And under body, you can mention details of the submissions for the email. Now over here, if you want to capture the details of the submission, you can do that by calling out the variables of the app by typing in @ and then you can see all the fields that are available for this app. So to mention details of the activity to be conducted, you can simply click on this and the details captured in the submission will be mentioned over here. Similarly, I can call out some more variables such as the date and time. If you want to ensure that these are the right variables from the app, you can always go back and check it. So you go to the design app and you can see the variables for the details of activity to be conducted, date and time, which is the same mentioned over here. Next, you can also send out PDFs if you have configured it for your app. Currently, I have not configured any PDF, so you can see the message over here. If you have any other attachments to be sent across, which is available in your system, you can drag and drop it over here. I'll save this configuration and let's see how it works. So first I will need to make a submission to the app. So I'll go to App Home and fill in the details really quickly. Click on Submit to make a submission. You can view all your submissions under the Submissions tab, and once you click on a submission, a right-hand panel will appear capturing all the details. Now since I have given my email address, let's see if we have received the email notification. So I'll just go to my inbox. And as you can see, I have received the email notification. The subject is given as well as the body, capturing the details of the submissions whose variables I had given. You can also get these details as an attachment if you have configured your PDF and added the variables over there to make it more cohesive. If you would like to know how to configure PDFs, you can check out our video on that. Now let's go back to see how you can use the email nodes in conjunction with other workflow nodes. So I'll go back to the workflow under design app. Now let's say you would really like to send email notifications based on certain conditions. So for example, if it is a weekly plan, then email notifications need not be sent. But if the plan is monthly, then the email notification should be sent. So to implement such kind of condition, in the workflow, we can combine the email node along with the if node. So first, when a submission is made, it needs to check whether the type is monthly. So in the right hand panel under condition, I will call out the variable @type equals to monthly. Click on save. Now if you would like to receive email notifications for both monthly as well as weekly, then you can leave the email node over here and add another email node under the if node for the weekly plan. But since I had mentioned I would only like email notifications to be sent if it is a monthly plan, I will now shift this email node under the if node. You can also delete it and add an email node underneath the if node, but since I do not want to repeat the configuration, I will simply push the email node under the if node. So I'll click on the email node on the right hand panel. At the bottom, I will change the parent step to if. Save. And you can see the email node has now shifted. So once a submission is made, it will check the condition if the type is monthly, and if so, it will send out an email notification to this email address. I will just make a minor change to the body. Now let's see how this workflow works. So I'll go back to App Home to make a submission. If I select weekly, I will not get an email notification, but if it is monthly, then I will. So I will select the type as monthly. Click on Submit. Check the Submissions tab to see if the submission has been made. Now I will check whether I have received the email notification. As you can see here, the email notification has arrived along with all the details. Now, as you saw, once I made a submission, I received the email notification almost instantly. If you would like the email notification to be sent out after a while or maybe after a certain amount of days, we can have such logic in the workflow as well. So once I click on Start, we can use the wait node. On the right hand panel, under wait type, you can see wait for and wait till. If I select wait till, you can set the amount of days to wait and then send the email notification as well as the time. So since we have a date field in the app, you can call out the variable @date and maybe say you want to send it after a day. You can do it as +1. Similarly, you can do so for time @time. But for the sake of example, I'll change the wait type to wait for, and here you can give the seconds for the workflow to wait and then send out the email notification. So let's say you would like to wait for 2 minutes, that would be 120 seconds. Click on Save. Then if you would like to send out the email notification, you can push it under the wait node, or if you want to check for the condition that it is a monthly plan and then send out the email notification, you can push it from the if node as well. So I'll click on the if node and parent step will be changed to wait. So now after I submit, it will wait for 2 minutes. Check for the condition if it is monthly, and if it is, it will send out the email notification. If not, then I will not receive any emails. So let's see how this works. I'll go to App Home and fill in the details. Now that I have made the submission, you can see the time is 1:37 right now. So I should be receiving the email at 1:39. As you can see over here, I have received the email within 2 minutes, as indicated by the time over here. Now let's say for every marketing plan submission made, an approval needs to be sent to maybe a department head who would approve or reject the plan, and based on the approval or rejection, you would receive an email notification regarding that status. For this, we can use the email node along with the approval node. The approval node also sends email notifications. However, the approval and email node work slightly differently, and we will see how this works. First, I will remove all the nodes that we have configured. Then click on Add Step. Now, for every submission that is made, an approval needs to be sent first. So we click on the approval node. For the approval, we will need to add statuses for the submission. To do that, we go to step 2, which is configuration. Then you click on status, and on the right hand panel, you can add your statuses. Save this. Now we go back to workflows. Click on the approval node. On the right hand panel, under approvers, you will have to give the email address of the approvers. If there are multiple approvers, you will have to give the email addresses separated by comma. Do keep in mind that the approvers that you mention over here need to first have reviewer access to the app. For that, you will need to go to step 5, which is distribute. Click on user access. On the right hand panel, click on users. Type in the email address of the user and then give the appropriate permissions. Under allowed approval statuses, select the statuses for which the approvers can select. Then you can give the subject and body. For now, I will just leave it as it is. In the body, the link of the submission is given so that once they receive the email notification, they will be able to approve or reject that particular submission. Click on Save. Now, based on the approval node, whether it is approved or rejected, send out the email notification to the user based on the status. So first, we will have to give the if condition. So under condition, I will type in @status equals to approved. You can also give another if condition to check whether it is rejected. So @status equals to rejected. Now under each condition, you can configure your email node. So if it is approved, give the subject and body accordingly. I'll save this and then configure another email node if the status is rejected. And now save this. Now here the process is, if the submission has been made, it will first send out an approval notification to the approver's email address. Then based on the status of the submission, whether it is approved or rejected, it will send out the corresponding email. I have only given my email address for the sake of example. So let's see how this workflow works. I'll go to App Home and make a submission. Click on submit and I will check my inbox for the approval notification. As you can see here, the approval notification has been sent across. You can then click on the link over here to go to that submission to approve or reject it. You can see once I clicked on the link, it redirected me to the submissions page. On the right hand panel of the submission at the top, you can click on the button here and then approve or reject the submission. So say I reject it, click on update. Now based on this status, I should receive the corresponding email. So let me go back to my inbox. I click on the email and you can see the latest email says that the plan has been rejected. Now let's see how to send reminder emails. First, I'll remove all the workflow nodes. Now say for example, after a submission is made, you would like an email notification to be sent out to relevant people who need to either approve or reject a submission. But if they haven't done so, then a reminder email would need to be sent to them until they have approved or rejected a submission. So in that case, you can set the workflow to have reminder emails. You can set reminder emails for other purposes as well. I am just taking approved or rejection of a submission as an example for now. It could be whether a stock is running low on a particular item, or maybe you need to check for high critical tickets or any other use case. So for reminder emails, I'll first click on add step and then use the repeat node. On the right hand panel, you can set the number of times to repeat the workflow. So over here, you can send out 3 reminder emails. Once 3 reminder emails have been sent across and you would not like any more reminder emails, then you can use false to break the condition. So I'll click on save. This also means that if 1 or only 2 reminder emails have been sent and the submission has been approved or rejected, even then the condition will break. So after the repeat node, we then use the wait node. So after 1 email has been sent, you can add some time between the reminder emails. So for that, you can use the wait type as wait till and then set the amount of days. For now, I'll just select wait for 2 minutes. After waiting for some time, we should check whether the status has been changed or not. So we use the if condition over here. Under the condition, I will type in @status equals to submitted. Click on save. This means that if the status is not approved or rejected, it'll send out the reminder emails. Now to check the type of statuses that we have for our submissions, go to step 2, which is configuration. Click on status. On the right hand panel, you can see submitted, approved and rejected. So whenever a submission is made, the status will always be submitted unless it is changed to approved or rejected. So for our workflow logic, if the status of the submission is submitted, it'll keep sending out the reminder emails until it is either approved or rejected. So if it is still in the submitted status, send out the reminder email. Click on save. Now in this logic, once a submission is made, it'll wait for 2 minutes, check if the status of the submission is either approved or rejected. If it is in the submitted status, then send out a reminder email and it'll send out 3 reminders. And if it is still not yet approved or rejected, it will break the condition. So let's see how this logic works. I'll go to App Home and make a submission. Click on Submit. I should be receiving the first email reminder shortly. You can see now that I have received the first reminder email. Now if I wait for 2 more minutes, I should be receiving the second reminder. So right now I have received it at 2:19. So I'll just wait for 120 seconds and then refresh my inbox. My second reminder email has now arrived at 2:21 p.m., which is 2 minutes after the first reminder, just as we have configured it. All the emails sent through the Clappia's email workflow node will be sent through noreply@clappia.com. If you would like to change this, you can change the SMTP settings once you log into your Clappia workplace. And then you can configure the SMTP settings so that emails generated through Clappia workflows can be configured to use a company's own SMTP server. You can check out our other video on how to configure SMTP settings. Now, if I were to make a change to the status of the submission, I updated it as approved, I will not receive the third reminder email. Now in the workflow, this is the mechanism for sending out reminder emails, but you can also add another email node, then push the remaining workflow nodes under this email node. So I'll change the parent step of the repeat node. And in this way, when a submission is made, instantly you will receive the email notification and then it will run the reminder email workflow. Now we have seen the email configuration under the new submission flow in workflows. You can also configure the email node along with the other workflow nodes under the edit submission flow and the review submission flow. So for example, it can happen that when a user makes a submission to the app, they might make an error. To make changes to the submissions, they can go to the Submissions tab, click on their submission and make changes over here. But if I were to make any changes right now and I save this, then according to our workflow, since it is under new submission flow, the email notification will not be sent across. It will only be sent if a new submission is made. So if edits are made in the Submissions tab over here, then we will need to add an email node in the edit submission flow. So I'll click on add step here and then click on email node. I will configure this accordingly on the right hand panel. Now I'll save this. Now if I were to make any changes to my submission in the Submissions tab, I will then receive the email notification that I just configured. Now I'll click on save and I should be receiving the email notification in my inbox. You can see I have now received an email with the corresponding body that I have configured. Similarly, if I need to change the status of a submission, for example, I will take the first submission. And in the Submissions tab, if I were to make any changes to the status, if an approval node is not set, then if you change the status in the Submissions tab, and then you would require an email notification to be sent to the user to update them on the status change, then for that, you will need to give the email node configuration under the review submission flow. So here I'll click on add step and click on the email node. Here again I will configure it. Now I'll click on save. Now I'll go back to the Submissions tab and for this particular submission, I'll change the status to rejected. Once I change it, I should receive an email notification for the configurations I just created. So I'll go back to my inbox and you can see I have received the corresponding email with the body that I have just configured. You can combine the email node in the review submission flow and the edit submission flow as well. The workflow configurations will also work if you use the mobile app. All you have to do is download the Clappia app via Play Store or App Store, and the moment you create your app or make any changes to it, you'll be able to use the app instantly. And any submissions made from the mobile app will trigger your workflows. So in this way, you can use the email workflow node in combination with the other workflow nodes available. You can also use the other workflow nodes according to your requirements along with the email node. So if you have any queries regarding the configuration of the email node or any other feature in Clappia, you can request support by clicking on the button over here, or you can email us directly to support@clappia.com and we'll be happy to assist you. Thank you.